fellow thrill enthusiasts. Are you interested in everything that's happened recently in the theme park community? Well, if you like Universal Orlando, I'm your guy, because I go over everything that I find weekly in Universal Studios Orlando. Who am I? Well, I am Winu, your weekly Universal news and updates. And let's dive into this with my first topic. Construction, the topic that anything in Universal wouldn't be without. So, this week, some of the protective wrap was removed from a Velociraptor on the site of the Velocicoaster. Now, this wrap makes this look like this raptor will more than likely be blue, as you can see the blue stripe going down its tail. So, even though this looks a lot like blue, it can still not be, even though this is the most likely Velociraptor for it to be, as it is easily the most famous and only blue Velociraptor in the Jurassic World series. So next for this topic is that the unknown work on the Bypass Bridge was continued. However, this week, instead of it continuing to be unknown, we've actually figured out what this work is. This is that construction workers are actually putting in extra support pillars to hold the bridge up stronger. However, as from this picture you can see, the bridge is quite strong due to the fact that it's holding heavy machinery, so I wouldn't be scared standing on this for sure. So also this week, some odd papers were taped to the bottom of some of the supports of the Velocicoaster. These almost look like blueprints, but nobody really has any clue what they are. Obviously they aren't permanent due to the fact that they are duct taped on, but we'll see when they are removed if that's soon or not. Some more fencing was also added by the lagoon. This completely fenced off this area, meaning that this could actually be held onto or visited by normal park guests, meaning that the Velocicoaster is just that much closer to opening, which is just amazing. So also this week, some new foliage was adding. A bunch of new bamboo was added by the recently revealed merchandise stand. This just adds to the jungle vibe of this ride, and honestly, you can see how far we've gone from the beginning of being able to see all the track to barely none of it now. So the building that covers the soon-to-be queue that we saw the beginnings of starting the other week has gotten some more progress. The entire thing is now covered in with walls and is also painted a brown color. I'm assuming that this color is not permanent due to the fact that it doesn't match the whole color scheme and is also quite bland, but it's good to see some progress going, and also seeing that this will be an indoor queue so that people won't be overheating while waiting in line for this amazing roller coaster. Hey, thinking about long lines, we can see what caused lines to be super long this week in my next topic. Crowds and prep. Wow, it has been a while since I have actually done one of these. So, on Thursday, before the parks even opened, an announcement was made saying that it was anticipated to hit capacity and that if you could change your plans to do so. This is the first time Universal has ever done this during the pandemic, and it's quite interesting to see that the crowds were actually that crazy this week that they had to put out an announcement like this. So here's when stuff starts to get really crazy. This week, the parks hit capacity a lot of days. They hit capacity at Friday at 8 in the morning and on Thursday at 7:30 in the morning, which is even before the parks officially open, meaning that only pass holders and hotel members could actually get into the parks. However, luckily, on Thursday, the parks did actually open later in the day, so normal guests could actually get into the park. But they also hit capacity at 8:30 on Wednesday and at 10:15 on Monday. So, yeah, and then later in the week, the parks actually started to calm down a bit as the holidays ended, which is great. It's just kind of crazy that that even had to happen. Like, why were there so many people here? I mean, I guess it makes sense due to the fact that it's winter break and New Year's and everything, but you'd think people would be a lot more careful. So anyways, due to the crowds on New Year's, an announcement that told guests that all reservations were at capacity and that nothing special would be done for New Year's appeared, and it can be seen in this clip here.
Closing at 10 p.m. and City Walk restaurant reservations have reached capacity. City Walk will not have a dedicated New Year's celebration. We invite you back for New Year's Day to once again let loose and enjoy all the holiday fun. Parks open at 8 a.m. tomorrow. See you again soon. From all of our team members, we wish you and yours a happy and safe New Year's celebration.
Looking at things that we can actually see in the parks, we can tell that this week fences were placed in front of the theme parks. These were in order to stop people from coming in when capacity was filled, and were certainly needed as capacity was hit a lot of times this week, as you heard earlier in this topic. Also, because of capacity, we can see that messages were put on screens telling people to expect capacity closures. The fact that Universal even had to do something like this due to crowds is kind of crazy, as we haven't had crowds this bad since the parks reopened this year. Or actually last year, because it's 2021 now. Wow, time flies. On the thought of crowds, let's see what will definitely attract a lot of them in my next topic. General news, the other part of my name that doesn't have to do with updates. So, this week, even though it was removed on Thursday, the Osprey continued its nest. It is just crazy that this guy keeps coming back. He didn't come back for a while, or it could be a she, I'm not going to assume the Osprey's gender, but the bird did not come back for a while before this happened, which is very confusing as to why it took such a long break. However, it persevered and it got its nest back, and the nest would later be removed again on Sunday. Why? Just let the bird have its nest. Actually, it's probably better if it doesn't. Say in the comments if you would rather have a bird's nest on top of the Velocicoaster or have it be operational. As much as I love the birds, I probably would really want to go on this roller coaster, so I'd have to say for the coaster to be operational. Also new for this week is some new concept art for the Velocicoaster. So this concept art, as you can see here, shows the coaster cart going through the Jurassic World gates. This shows us that this is going to be jungly themed, which is kind of a given from how many plants have been on, but also shows us that Blue is more than likely going to be addition of the ride as he's standing in the front of this picture, meaning that the raptor that we saw earlier in the construction topic more than likely is Blue as he's also in concept art. So this ride is going to have a lot of people lining up to see it, and let's see which people will more than likely be the first ones to come in my next topic. Universal Orlando pass holder news, the topic that probably a small amount of my audience actually applies to. So this week some new stuff was added that was given out at the pass holder lounge. This week, some magnets with iconic foods from the parks, including pizza fries, came out for January, along with the pass holder lounge button. This button was revealed a couple of weeks ago, if you look in my previous videos, and it shows how difficult it is to get to the lounge, and finally came out this January. Hey, do you remember the cool magnet that came out for Christmas last year? Well, we can see more stuff about Christmas in my next topic. Holidays! And disappointingly this week I don't have too much good news for this topic. So Sunday of this week was the last day of Universal's holiday offerings, meaning that the tribute store, Universal's holiday experience featuring Macy's balloons, and limited treats will all leave. They are no longer available as of the time that this video is out, and even though it's disappointing, it's kind of come time as it's already the new year, and this is all for Christmas. Also, next week, all decor for Universal's Christmas experience is going to be taken down, reverting the parks to their normal looks. I'm not really sure how to feel about this. Like, it's kind of cool that everything's returning to normal and we'll get the classic Universal parks, but still, it's always awesome to see the parks as something else. Let's just hope that we can actually do Mardi Gras this year. Anyways, let's talk about what you probably buy a lot of at Mardi Gras in my next topic. Merchandise! The topic where I generally have a very long list of things and one or two other things. So the one or two other things is that this week, Trolls World Tour merch is now 30% off. It's been in the stores for quite a while. In fact, I think it's been out since the parks reopened, and obviously it's not selling as well or they're getting rid of it, and therefore they are putting it out for 30% off. So if you really want some of this, now's the best time to get it. Now, the long list that I talked about is here. The online store added a lot of things. That includes some Harry Potter things, Back to the Future masks, and also more other things. I tried to keep it as short as I could because it just adds extra time to parts of the video that basically nobody watches. Which reminds me, if you're at this part of the video, thank you for watching. I really appreciate you. So that's all the big things that I found in Universal Studios Orlando this week, but I also have a small thing. That small thing is that palm trees were planted by the entrance of Burger Digs. It's no crazy big update, but it's cool that it's there. Thank you so much for watching. That was everything that I could find in Universal Studios Orlando, and I hope you had fun watching my video. I sure had a fun time making it, and this is my first video in a couple of weeks that's gone longer than 10 minutes, so hooray me! Also, if you like my content, please leave a like and or subscribe. It helps my channel out a lot in the YouTube algorithm. And now that all of that is said and done, this is Wuna, signing off.